Linda, what is this? Solar panels don't make noise. I held up the violation notice. She smirked. Yours do? Multiple complaints. Constant hum and glare. Very disruptive, impossible. I crumpled the paper. You're inventing things to fine me. Her grin widened. Pay the fine or I escalate. I stepped closer. This is harassment, Linda. She turned away. Rules are rules. The sun was high that afternoon, and the glint of my rooftop solar panels shimmered across the street. I had saved up for years to get them installed, knowing they'd cut down my electricity bills and help the environment. It should have been a victory for me and my family. But the victory was short-lived. I walked to the mailbox and saw a crisp white envelope stamped with the familiar crest of the Homeowners Association. My stomach sank. I already knew this wasn't going to be good news. Tearing it open, my eyes raced across the page. Violation notice, noise disturbance caused by unauthorized solar panel installation. Fine amount, $250. I almost laughed out loud. Noise? From solar panels? They were silent as glass, but my laughter quickly gave way to anger. This had Linda's name written all over it. Linda, our HOA president, was notorious in the neighborhood. She was a woman in her late 50s with an icy demeanor and an obsession with keeping the community pristine. To her, anything outside her narrow definition of normal was unacceptable. I stormed up my driveway and found her waiting by the sidewalk, clipboard in hand, as if she had been waiting for me to discover the letter. Linda, I said, holding up the paper, what is this supposed to mean? Solar panels don't make noise. She smirked. Well, yours do. I've had complaints from multiple neighbors that there's a constant hum and glare. It's disruptive to the community. That's impossible, I snapped. They don't make any noise. You're inventing things to fine me. For her lips curled into a self-satisfied grin. The HOA has rules about disturbances. You can pay the fine now, or I'll escalate this matter further. I took a deep breath, trying not to explode. You're harassing me, Linda. This is ridiculous, and you know it. Rules are rules, she replied smugly, turning on her heel and striding down the street like a self-appointed sheriff. I wasn't about to let her bully me. I marched back inside, grabbed my phone, and started recording a video of the panels. I walked around them, showing there was no sound at all, just birds chirping in the distance. I posted the video on the neighborhood Facebook group, explaining what Linda was trying to do. Within minutes, comments flooded in. Noise from solar panels? That's insane. She's targeting you. Same thing she did when I put wind chimes up. This has to stop. The support gave me courage. But Linda wasn't finished. The very next day, she returned, pounding on my front door. You're spreading lies about me on social media, she barked. Take that video down, or I'll add an additional fine for defamation. I squared my shoulders. You're not fining me another penny. In fact, I'm calling the police. This is harassment. Her face went red. How dare you? But I was already dialing. Within 15 minutes, a patrol car rolled up. Officer Ramirez stepped out, calm but authoritative, adjusting his sunglasses as he approached. Is there a problem here? He asked. Yes, officer, I said. This woman is targeting me with false fines. She claims my solar panels make noise. They don't. She's been harassing me nonstop, Linda interjected, her voice shrill. Officer, this resident is in violation of HOA noise ordinances. Several complaints have been filed. Complaints about solar panels? The officer interrupted, raising an eyebrow. Ma'am, that doesn't sound credible. They're disruptive, she insisted. I've documented everything. The officer looked at me. Do you mind if I check it out? Not at all, I said, leading him to the backyard where the panels glistened silently in the sun. He stood there listening. Nothing, just the quiet hum of cicadas in the trees. He turned back to Linda, unimpressed. Ma'am, these panels aren't making any noise. There's no violation here, Linda sputtered. But the glare, the community standards don't override harassment laws, the officer said firmly. You can't invent violations to target your neighbors. If you continue this behavior, you could be facing charges for harassment and abuse of authority. Her jaw dropped. Charges? For doing my duty? He stepped closer, his tone low but unyielding. No, ma'am. For crossing the line. Consider this your warning. Linda's face twisted in fury, but she didn't dare speak again. She turned and stormed off, muttering under her breath. The officer looked at me and sighed. Some people get a little too much power and let it go to their heads. Document everything, just in case she tries again. Thank you, I said, relief washing over me. Over the next few days, word spread quickly through the neighborhood. People were tired of Linda's antics. My video had gone semi-viral on the local community boards, and neighbors began sharing their own stories. How she fined one family for a basketball hoop, another for their kid's lemonade stand, even someone for having a bird feeder. By the end of the week, a group of neighbors gathered at the park pavilion to discuss what to do. This is the last straw, said Marcia, a neighbor who had been fined for painting her shutters the wrong shade of blue. She's abusing her position. We should vote her out, another neighbor said. Call for a special election. I nodded. We need someone who cares about this community, not someone who treats it like her personal kingdom. The group agreed, and within days a petition was circulating. More than half the community signed it, demanding Linda's removal. At the next HOA meeting, the room was packed wall to wall. Linda sat at the front, her posture stiff and defiant. This meeting is out of order, she shouted as neighbors confronted her with a stack of grievances. No, you're out of order, Marcia shot back. We're tired of your harassment. The people here deserve better, a murmur of agreement filled the room. When the vote was finally called, the decision was overwhelming. Linda was removed as HOA president. She stormed out of the clubhouse, red-faced and trembling, but she was finished. The aftermath was like a weight lifted from everyone's shoulders. The new HOA board, made up of level-headed residents, immediately voided my fine and refunded others who had been unfairly targeted. A few weeks later, I stood in my yard with my kids, watching the solar panels soak in the afternoon sun. The neighborhood felt different, lighter, freer. Marcia walked over smiling. You really started something, she said. If you hadn't stood up to her, she'd still be running the place into the ground. I shook my head. All I did was refuse to be bullied. The rest of the neighborhood made this happen. Still, she said, patting my shoulder, it's good to finally have some peace around here. And for the first time in a long while, I felt proud to call this community my home. Linda's reign of terror was over, and the silence of my solar panels spoke louder than any of her false accusations ever could. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful true stories. Your support allows us to keep delivering valuable insights and stories that inform and inspire people everywhere. Thank you for watching Work Story, and see you in the next one.